Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to start a new week with you. And now the topic is struggling versus presence. I would like to read with you two verses, one from Genesis and another one from Exodus, and see what is the relation between verb and a noun, how they in Hebrew can take different meaning, though they have the same root letters, and what is happening to Jacob or to Jacob in us. Why, when there is a presence, struggling, and let's pop into the verses and see what is happening on the whiteboard. We are reading from Genesis chapter 32, verse 32 as well. Hebrew, ויזרח לו השמש כאשר עבר את פנואל, והוא צולע על יריחו. And the sun rose upon him as he passed over Peniel, and he limped upon his thigh. Here the verse is translated in a way in a past form, and he limped, yes, but in Hebrew this is present tense. Again, ויזרח לו השמש, and the sun was illuminating for him. כאשר עבר את פנואל, when he passed Pnuel, והוא צולע, and he is limping, ing, verbing, and he is limping on his thigh. Rashi, the interpreter of the Bible, says something very interesting about this verse. He was limping when the sun was shining at him. What is limping? Limping is when a person cannot go straight, so he's like short and he's doesn't, in a way, in a flow. So the limping happens when the sun is shining. What is the correlation between limping? The body, the human body is limping when the sun is shining, because the sun is, in a way, symbolizes the unconditional situation of the soul. The soul is unconditional and infinite, but the human body is finite and is limping in relation to the sun, in relation to the infinite. Another here word is his thigh. The word for thigh in Hebrew is yarech, and in a way yarecho, yes, yarecho is his thigh. When here we see, interestingly, yes, Kaf and Vav, this is the 26, and Yod and Resh, this is 210. At the moment I would like to stay with this and to show all of us a different angle. Yerecho, Yerech, is like if we change the Chaf into Chet, because they also have the same sound, almost Chaf without a dot. This is Chaf, oh, yes? And Chet, they almost sound the same. And in this way, when we write it, this is a moon. So he was limping on his moon part, the conditional part, because the moon is the lesser illuminator. It has conditions. The moon appears in the beginning of the month as darkness, and then 3 days after it appears like this, and then we go, and then there's a full moon, and then there's another ending. There's another here. When the moon disappears, it appears on the left side, and I speak from the perspective of the north hemisphere of the planet. Here, this is the beginning. This is when the end of the moon, yes? So he was limping on his thigh, he was limping on his moon. This is a conditional. When we are conditional, all of us, yes? When we think that we are conditional, yes, we are also struggling, because this is also a consequence of struggle. And we are limping, we always feel less than something which is absolute. And another perspective is that the book of Song of Songs or Song of Solomon speaks about the sigh as a part of the moon. The size, a human size like this. Yes? There's a body here, and there's two sides. And the two sides of the human body are like two parts of the moon. This is the beginning of the moon, and this is the ending of the moon. So each side, let's imagine this, that each side is like the appearance, so to speak, of the moon. There's one side that this is the beginning of the moon, and another side which is the ending of the moon, like when the moon or the month is in a way disappearing before the appearance of a new moon month. So this is interesting because we see in the beginning of the verse, Vayizrach lo hashemesh, and the moon was shining at him or for him, for the struggling man in us. When he passed Pnuel, Pnuel is the face of God, so to speak, or turning towards God. Pnuel, turn to God. What is Pnuel? Pnuel divides into two parts. Pnu, turn. El is God. Turn to God. So the sun was shining at him, the absolute, the unconditional. When he passed Pnuel, turning to God, turning to the inner. But something else is happening at the same moment, because everything is a divine presence. He is limping on his thigh, yes, on his moon, yes, because the moon is a lesser illuminator. It is a conditional one. And in the previous discussion about the book of Zohar, we were saying that the thigh or the size of man or human body is outside, so to speak, of the body. The body is Tiferet. I would like to make another drawing here and to explain something, and also the city of Jericho, but to remember all of those things, yes? So there is here the sketching of the spheres. Yes. This is Tiferet, this is where the heart is. Yes, this is Chesed, Gevurah. This is Tiferet, the beauty, the heart. Yes, this is Netzach, eternity, Hod. Yesod. And here we have Malchut, the heavenly kingdom. The interesting thing is that when Jacob was limping, he was in a way limping at this. This is the part. Let's make it red, maybe. 1 second. At Hod, he was limping, and we were saying, the book of Zohar said that this is outside of the body. Here. Because Hod, in a way, holds the letter Hey, because this is the fifth sphere from grace, from Chesed. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Hod is Hey is the head, and then we have Vav and Daled. And when we change it, this is Du. This is duality. Duality. The left side is duality. So he was limping on the duality aspect because he was struggling. But the sun, in the sun there is no separation. The sun is, in a way, the absolute light, like the soul. There is no condition. So when he was limping on duality, on struggle, the sun, the presence, was shining at him, the divine presence. And in a way, this is the topic of this little conversation that we have now. And later in the next chapter, we shall see that Jacob is building a house. Vayiven, at Saturday night we learn Vayiven lo bayit, after the struggle with Esau. Yes, with the 400 he builds a house. When we struggle, Or what is the meaning of struggling? Struggling basically is a consequence of not being present. Yes? This is where the first killing starts. Abel is present. Cain is not present. This is the first killing. Usually when people think about Cain, they think about, man, this man, he is a butcher, a caveman, Flintstone, who knows, sitting in his cave with his stick, murderer. Yes, this is how people think about Cain. Has axes, all kinds, yes, of tools, and who knows how many swords, like a killer. This is the, I would say, the imaginary image that we have. It's the first image, maybe, I don't know. But we don't think about Cain as, because first this is a plastic image of a killer, but we don't think about Cain as a process of thinking or a thought. So there is, in a way, dichotomy, or there's difference, or two opposites aspects. There is presence, divine presence, and there's thinking happening. When Cain is born, his mother says, I bought a man from God. This is what she thinks, that she bought something. Yes, Cain in a way represents the process of thinking in us, which is mechanical. And when we are thinking, we are not present. We are not being in the moment. Therefore, there's struggle, because presence sits in the middle. In a previous session, we were reading from a beautiful part from the book of Zohar, that the struggling was happening here on the left side. Gevura and Hod. In a way, this is outside of the body. This is not the center where the heart is, and Yesod, foundation, and the Word of God. Yes, the heart is in the middle. This is Tiferet. This is the beauty of the tree. Man, humanity is a tree. So, being present, it means being with the heart and attending Yesod. What is Yesod? The foundation, when the Word is. Yes, being present for the secret sod. Yes, there are many words that we can create from the word Yesod, foundation. Yes, but another one, and it is quite interesting, is the Vav and the Daled of Yesod. Vav of the Daled of Yesod, in a way, are coming from Hod. Here, the Vav and the Daled, they are being conceived here. Yes, the duality is being conceived, yes, and being held together, and there's no separation, no struggle. This is why presence is very important to all people who are going for recovery, struggling with alcohol, people struggling with a lot of things in life. Humanity is struggling, we are struggling with many things. Struggling is an expression of not being present at the moment. Therefore, there is a need to build again, to be present. And what is the meaning of being present? This is building, being in the middle. And this is being expressed by building. Here we have another verse from the book of Exodus. When the word Tzela, here we met those letters Tzadi, Lamed, Ain as a verb which means limping. limping on his side, because this is interesting. And here we find the word Selah as a noun, like we find in Genesis, Vayiven et Selah. And he built a rib, or the side, yes, or the essence. So here we find the word Selah as a noun. Here, upstairs in Genesis, as a verb. Yes. So let's read verse 27. Yes, let's see what is written there. וחמישה בריחים לקרשי צלע המשכן השנית, וחמישה בריחים לקרשי צלע המשכן לירכתיים ימה. Yes, verse 27. This is a very interesting word as well. Yes, the basis of, yes, yarech, yarchatayim. Yes, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle. Side, they call it side here. Side, this is tzela. This is tzela, this is a noun. And 5 bars for the boards of the side. Again, side. Tzela of the tabernacle. For the hinder part, west side. Hinder. In English, it's a new word. In Hebrew it comes from yarech, thigh, the 2 thigh. Yes, yarech. Here there is a description of how the Mishkan, the tabernacle, is being built. But we can ask ourselves why there is from the beginning a need to buy the Mishkan or the tabernacle. Why? Why is there such a need to build a tabernacle in the desert, in the world of duality? Because after Israel were receiving the 10 commandments, in a way, the 10 first tablets were in a way absolute. This is absolute in terms of non-duality, something which always exists, unconditional love. But they could not hold in this unconditional situation, and immediately they make like a parade of foreign god and foreign idolatry, and they build a golden calf for this kind. And Moses goes to the mountain to ask forgiveness, and the conclusion is from this struggle is, okay, let's build a little tent, and there in this tent people cannot conceive holiness all the time, or presence all the time. They can't. So let's build a little tent, and inside, called tabernacle, Mishkan, and there in a way presence can dwell, because people are incapable. Mishkan, which is divided into 2 words. Yes, Mishkan, Shem, because those, yes, the name is here, Shem, the essence or the name. Kan is, how do you say, not just here, but is standing, like we say holder, a placeholder for the phone, konan for the phone, so is standing. Kan is from, how do you say, konan, is ready. Here the name or the presence is ready and dwelling. Mishkan, the name, the presence is being here. So why did we start with this idea, why to build a Mishkan? Because people do not or can't be all the time in presence, in the middle, with the heart in the center. They can't. So let's build a place in which they can come and feel, so to speak, the presence, yes? So again, where the building starts from the tzela, from the side, because this is our situation. We cannot be in the middle. So again, we take a rib from the side, and from this spark that comes from the side starts a new building in which presence can be. I hope that this topic was not complicated to understand. We were just trying to connect the words tsolea, limping, which comes from the noun tsela, side, because when we limp, we just like are being seen as walking on one side. There is no completion, there is no flow. So again, the relation between tsela, side, and tsolea, limping. When a man is limping, he seems that he's walking only on one side, only on one part of the moon, so to speak, yes? And another point of view which comes to me now, we were saying that yarech is not just a sigh. When we can replace the chaf with chet, we get, in a way, moon. Yes? When we change here the chaf with chet, we get yareach, moon. And Jericho, yes? Jericho comes from yareach, the moon city. And in a way, they're entering, this is interesting because this is a key to return. Yes, they're going through Jericho, yes, through the moon city, through the side, and then there will be building, or with Joshua they shall build, or we are building, because it's not a past tense, the presence in the promised land, but through the moon city. The startup is from the moon city, from Jericho. Now I would like to read for us 2 verses from the book of Zohar in Aramaic about the rib. Tsela is a rib, the side. Tsela vadai misitra de chesed. Rib surely from the side of grace. Chivar. The grace is what? White. The grace is white. Mitaman itkariat sihara. From there, it is being called a moon. A moon, meaning there is association here with the color of white or pale and the moon. Moon in English, sihara in Aramaic, or sahar in Hebrew. So the moon is associated with pale or white. Now, and here is a quote from Genesis 2. Vaisgor basar, this is how God takes, in a way, one of the ribs of Adam, and then the continuity is Vaisgor basar, and he closed flesh, and so basar, flesh, the ihi sumak, that it is red. Sumak is red. Misitra de Gevura, from the side of Gevura, overcoming or courage, the left side, yes? Tsela, rib. He mitzad, please see this, tsela and tzad, side. Tsela, rib, he, this is it, from the side of continuing grace, which is the aspect of white. The bride is also the bride. She is wearing a white dress. This is grace, yes? ומשום זה היא נקראת לבנה. And from this reason, the moon, yes, when the moon appears in a full and complete dimension, this is a full moon. Let's not make it with red. What colors do we have here? Do we have others? This we could not see, but maybe silver. Let's say when the moon appears in a fullness part, in Hebrew it's called levana, because it is full white, levana. דהיינו על שם אור חסד שבה. The moon, the full moon in Hebrew, is called Levana, feminine white. Why? Because according to the light of grace in it, the light of grace is Lavan. Yes? The light of grace is Lavan, and she is being called upon the light of grace, and she is Levana. Levana. So this was our little conversation about struggling, presence, white, full moon, which is called Levana, and how do we build a presence? Because there was a question in our, there was a lesson about Moses' bride. This is another. Moses' bride, in a way, this is Mishkan. This is the Tzela, Moshe and the Rib, Moshe and the Mishkan, Moshe and the presence. Yes, Moshe is the husband, and the presence is his bride, Moses' bride. Who is Moses' bride? The presence, the divine presence. So I hope we managed to encompass this topic. It is quite interesting. And here I would like to share with you a little picture. This is from Salzburg, Austria. Yeah. In a way, we can see here the mountain, the side of the mountain, the Tzela, the rib of the mountain, and how humanity is building on the rib of the mountain, on the side of the mountain. They use the side of the mountain as a wall, as a startup, and from there they are building, a building. This is just an example. Vayiven et hatzela, and he built the rib or the side, and so on. So I hope this topic was beautiful to understand. If you have further questions, please be free and ask from us whatever you like, whatever you want. We wish you a beautiful day and wonderful week, and I hope to see you soon here on Discord.